In the previous episode, I had mentioned that in the English dictionary, there are several words which carry multiple meanings. So, words on their own, stand alone, do not convey the correct meaning because in different contexts, words carry different meanings depending on the usage. Now, there are several words in English dictionary which have got the same spelling, the same pronunciation, but different meanings. These words are called homonyms. Just to give you some very normal example, right. Right can be on the right hand side, right can be correct also, right? So there are several things. Left, for example, left can be on the left hand side, left can be the past tense of leave, same spelling but different meanings. Okay. Ring, for example, ring can be a ring, a finger ring or a earring, or maybe ringing the telephone. Now there are certain classic words, very simple words, like for example run. The word run is said to have 645 different meanings. That's amazing. Like for example, he is running a temperature. Why don't you run? You see the different meanings. The dog was run over. The tap is running. That means the water is flowing. In cricket parlance, take a run. Each one is having, depending on the construction of the sentence or in combination of the other words, they mean differently. Now, I'll give another classic example, the word which we often use on a day-to-day basis, the word dressing. What do we normally mean by dressing? Dressing may be clothing for an occasion. Dressing may be healing a wound, like putting a cloth with some medicines, so we dress the wound, right? Dressing may be something, arranging something artistically, like dressing the food, for example. He's dressing the food, like for example, the salads on which the oil or the sauce is poured. So that's a dressing. Okay, so here you see like the same word, when it's used in combination with other words, it gives the correct meaning, conveys the correct meaning. So far as the verbal communication is concerned, where we use words and sentences. Now the same thing is equally true for non-verbal communication also, where each non-verbal cue may give different meaning altogether depending on the context, depending on in combination with the other cues. Like, for example, somebody who is, let's say, who is sitting like this, with his arms crossed against the chest. If I find somebody who is, let's say, sitting in the bus stop in an open, cold winter night, with the knees close to each other and stooping, it's quite obvious that probably he is feeling cold, extremely cold. So that's a physical property or physical expression. Now, if in a meeting, for example, one-to-one meeting or negotiation, sales negotiation, we find somebody sitting like this against his customer or client or the prospective buyer, then it's quite likely that he's being defensive. He's not really ready to buy the idea. He's closed mentally. Same for eye contacts. Eye contacts is a very essential element for non-verbal communication. Now, when we make an eye contact through a gaze, through a soft gaze with another person, with a maybe in combination of a slight smile on the lips, that means the other person is welcome. I'm willing to speak to him or her, right? Whereas when two persons quarrel on the streets, when there is a car accident or something, the vehicles are damaged, and the drivers come out of their seats, they stare at each other. It's no more a great gaze, it's a stare at each other. So they directly look wide-eyed against each other with their lips tight and their fists possibly clenched. It's also an eye contact, but then in combination with his lip movement or his hand movement, we can make out that they are being aggressive. So you see, The context is very important for any non-verbal communication. The context and the combination of different words is very important to find the final meaning. So any non-verbal cue has to be read in combination with others, like eyes have to be read along with the hand gestures, along with the standing posture, along with the sitting position, along with the direction in which a person is facing or moving his heads to. So in combination with multiple number of cues, we get the correct non-verbal communication. Some cues may be very standard, like smile on the lips is very standard, but then obviously even a smile also, when combined with a different kind of a stare or a squint eyes, it gives a different perspective altogether. So always in non-verbal communication, remember that the context and the combination of one cue along with the others, multiple number of others, is very important to actually judge what's going on in the minds of a person. If you want to know more about it, you can grab a copy of my book, Speak Without Words, Your Journey to the Mastery of Non-Verbal Communication. That's available on the Amazon platform, both in hardcover as well as Kindle. You can just flip through the books and you can follow my channel as well.